Welcome guys to another video from DataSolve. I have a treat for you today. I'm going to demonstrate how I transformed a client's spreadsheet into a fully functional web app. With that said, let's dive straight into today's video. And by the way, if you are here, if you would like to connect with me, you can do so by scanning the QR code. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, book a meeting for your data needs, you can do so all through this QR code. So let's jump straight into the meat and potatoes of the video, which is transforming a spreadsheet into a fully functional web app. Now, yes, it's a bit of story time. I'm going to take you back into my history and how all this started. So we're going to start with the initial grind, and I have been working in IT for the past 8 to 9 years, IT support. I was very thankful that at one stage in my career, my manager allowed me to study SQL, take courses while working full-time, and this allowed me to truly specialize in SQL. In parallel with this, I did also open up a Fiverr account and offer my SQL services. Mind you, at the time, it was very difficult because my initial jobs were dealing with a lot of university students who wanted me to complete their assignment. Now, after about 5 or 6 uni assignments, I then stumbled across a golden client which I'll explain through this slide, who wanted me to convert his spreadsheet, which he had complex formulas, into a fully updatable database. So what I'm showing you now is the actual database in question, and what I needed to do was create a navigation page through this hyperlink code. So as you can see here, there are a lot of worksheets which are cumbersome to navigate. So what I've done is I have created this navigation page so we can do so with ease. Now, I'm not going to bog you down with all the formulas, but the ultimate goal was to create a database which would then feed into these charts. But effectively, the task was to convert this spreadsheet into a fully automated database to present these graphs. So then I'm going to transition into the design phase. And what other way to transition into a design phase but to start designing the database in SQL Server, more specifically SSMS. Here you go. This is just a diagram of what we've been able to convert the Excel spreadsheet to a database through a bunch of create statements with primary key and foreign key, referential integrity. However, the needs of the project changed over time and the client wanted to be able to update the database. So we needed to make a pivot, and we pivoted to none other than MS Access, one of the most reliable databases available. No joke. So as you can see, you've got the option to create a form, and here is the schema in an ERD format. Now, the problem with this is we can't take it online. So the needs changed once again. And let me take you to one of the low-code platforms, which is Bubble. So at the time, I was experimenting with Bubble, so I thought, hey, this will be a good opportunity to test my skill set and build the front end all in Bubble. It seems easy enough and pretty seamless. So the next issue that arose was to create a backend that would integrate with the Bubble front end. And this was one of the biggest challenges that I went through because the default Bubble database isn't really that great at creating complex SQL views. So I needed a way to store that. So I went through a few solutions. The first one being I was experimenting with NoSQL, and to be more specific, RESTDB.io. Now, I had no experience in NoSQL at the time, but I thought it was a buzzword and I thought I'd give it a shot. And it worked, or so it seemed it worked, but it lacked, again, that SQL view complexity that I wanted. Next, I took my hand at MS Azure, and this was working and I was creating my SQL views and my tables and whatnot. But after I received a $400 bill each month, it was proving too costly to manage. I ditched that solution. Finally, we reached a positive position in this whole equation, and that was to use Supabase. Supabase is a backend as a service. They offer free tier, I believe, obviously depending on the limits that you use with your project. And it is built upon PostgreSQL syntax. So not much different to T-SQL. And they also offer an AI integration. So if you want to convert your code, you can do so pretty easily. So here it is. We have the Supabase backend to integrate with my Bubble front end. This is just a high-level view of the logic that I used for the view. As you can see here are all the tables which are derived from the Excel worksheets, which I needed to tabulate. And we're going to give you a demonstration now of everything put together. So this is the schema. So this was the initial documentation that I needed to do for the project. And then from there, what we did is we built the logic in the database. So we can see here there are a lot of tables in the back end here, which are all derived from the Excel worksheet. And then this will connect into the front end of the Bubble app. I've already signed in, and this is a live domain up and running. Let's click on reports. And as I showed you previously, the charts here, we are replicating this in the front end web app. So you can pick your data agreement, annual earnings per week, and this will plot effectively what you need in this chart. And this is all through a plugin in the Bubble interface. However, there were further issues in the design. Now, I'm not knocking Bubble, I'm not dismissing Bubble by any means, but in terms of granularity of control, it does lack the granularity in comparison to actually coding a project. So one more pivot to this project, and we designed it through an AI assistant through a code base. So yes, the old-fashioned way of programming, but obviously through the help of an AI assistant to complete this. But for now, I'm just going to show you a demonstration. So I've logged in with a one-time email link. I've set that up, and as you can see here is the dashboard. Look, it works very much the same as the Bubble interface. It is a little bit cleaner, and I found that I had more granular control over designing the interface. Although it still is a work in progress, it's not 100% finalized. I don't think anything is, but this was basically me showing you how I converted a Excel spreadsheet into a web app. So the front end framework was React. The styling was Tailwind CSS. We used Supabase for the back end to integrate via an API. We used recharts, GitHub for version control, and Vercel for deployment. So that's everything in a nutshell of converting my client's Excel spreadsheet into a fully functional web app. We can do the same for you. Get in touch with us and we'll show you how to do so. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you have an amazing day.